Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Teleislas News, the most important news of the day. The Ministry of Education, the government of San Andres, the National Unit for Disaster Risk Management, and ICETEX reopened the Archipielago Alliance call for higher education.
Good evening, Lisa and Aldi TV viewers. Well, we want to announce that the ICETEX don't open again this project of credits alliance with the Archipelago. This project will help a lot of people of our community to access to higher education. In this note, we give you all the details for the opening of this call for higher education.
This alliance, which will offer more than 60 forgivable loans without tuition ceilings, will allow the young people of the department to advance in higher education. The young people will be free to choose which program, which institution, and even the semester. Cars will be open for a period of 3 weeks, and from the offices we will be providing all the support required, from information to filling out forms and participation in the selection committee.
This alliance has resources of more than 4,500 million and today had benefit 172 young people. It financed 100% of the tuition fee, which will be forgivable upon graduation, and the provisional of social services within the archipelago itself.
Nos hemos unido todos los actores.
We have joined all the actors to guarantee absolute transparency in the process of information, evaluation, and granting of this fundamental support so that all the young people of the island, together with other programs, may sign up for higher education.
This call from the ICETEX is open from yesterday, 21 of June, and it will go until the 9th of July. If you want more information about this detailed information, you can go in at the web page of the ICETEX. This is all the information we report from this point of the island. Continue, Lisa, in studio.
And after a high night of heavy rains, the Secretariat of Infrastructure during the morning hours conducted cleaning of drains and sewers in the department. And as excellent, Abel Archibald described the results.
We have had a night of heavy rains, which have generated flooding in different sectors of the island. Fortunately, we have already advanced actions that will improve this situation.
The Secretary has already advanced cleaning of drains and channels by the airport runway and in sectors of the island. About this, the Secretary stated.
On the beach where the I Love San Andres sign is located, at the head of the runway, we have already started with the excavating process, and we have already opened the channel that allows the waters that go from the airport and surrounding sectors to be evacuated. Also, in the back part of the airport that has to do with the old control tower, and the pump is working and has been evacuating water. There is a lot of water. We hope that before noon, this area is already evacuated.
As for the sectors such as schoolhouse that also suffer from heavy rains, Archibald said that 10 operators have been hired to clean the channels. He also invited the community not to dump sewage or garbage into the channel.
And regarding the heavy rains that occurred during the early hours this morning, the port captaincy provided information.
The interim port captain indicated that the rains that are occurring are not cause for alarm, but correspond to the current hurricane season that began at the beginning of the month in the Caribbean.
No es de alarmarnos, es normal de la época.
It's not cause for alarm. The tropical waves are normal when the hurricane season begins and are fed by the Intertropical Convergence Zone, which is a zone of climatic instability which develops into precipitations, which were the heavy rains we had in the early hours of this morning.
Finally, the lieutenant explained what is expected during the next few days.
Ya para los siguientes días.
For the next few days, this would tend to decrease noticeably from today to about 10 to 12 days, which is the cyclical cold of the tropical waves. The keys continue to be maintained with the different flags in the daily reports. Wind and precipitation activity will increase in the area without major complications.
It should be clarified that there will be a yellow flag for the Rose Key and Johnny Key to stop bathers' diving activities both in the east and in the west for the island. Likewise, passenger transportation companies and both captains are informed that while the flag is yellow, it is forbidden to embark and transport adults over 65 years old, pregnant women, and people with disabilities. Finally, there will be a red flag for stringate tours and tourist activities in East, Southeast, and Southwest Keys. It will also be prohibited to moor boats to the buoy that delimits the bathing areas, and it is not allowed to moor boats at Johnny Key Dock. The port captaincy will be informing if there is any change in the weather conditions.
In order to increase the coverage of live coral in the department, the environmental corporation CORALINA will plant 500,000 fragments of coral reefs.
In recent days, the President of the Republic launched in the department the project 1 Million Corals for Colombia, where it seeks to carry out the planting of coral fragments in various regions of the country. The Coralina Environmental Corporation has indicated the date on which they will begin the planting of 500,000 coral fragments in the archipelago.
Having 500,000 fragments of corals in the archipelago, in the biosphere reserve seafloor, is a national project. We are evolving cooperation from the coastal zone of the continent and Pacific, Caribbean, Atlantic and Pacific. But in San Andres, we will work in practically 500,000 fragments of corals. This project will be heading in Providence, in San Andres, and in East, Southeast, and Southwest. I will be looking forward. We say we can work on the North Keys, but it's very difficult, so we will start in with these 3 points in the biosphere reserve with the fishermen. This is where I work with the fishermen because the fishermen already have the skills.
Currently, the Environmental Corporation has 11 coral gardens between San Andres and New Providence.
And in view of the pollution that has been occurring due to the impact of balloons as marine debris on the island, CORALINA indicated that they will take corrective actions.
By means of the Administrative Act, the Environmental Corporation CORALINA seeks to prohibit the use of plastic elements in the coastal zone, as well in boats like pontoons that use elements like balloon, the director of the entity pronounced.
In the following hours, we will be expedient a resolution prohibiting the use of the balloons and plastic in the coastal zone, any part of the coastal zone in San Andres and Providence. Not only Almendros, everywhere you can't have party with this type of element in the sea because will be sanctioned and this is total prohibit with this resolution. So far, we will be articulating this prohibition with the prohibition of the income or the bringing in of plastic of one use from next month. So I will invite to everybody not to use this type of element in the coastal zone because there will be sanction and this harm the ecosystem, the marine ecosystem, it harm the fauna, it harm the turtle, it harm the seabirds them, and we have to very, very, very careful because it generate a negative impact. So that's why that decision take from the corporation to prohibit those elements.
The director of CORALINA, Arne Britton, indicates that this initiative seeks to avoid that species living in these ecosystems and end up being contaminated by these balloons.
And for people who have symptoms or who have been in contact with people infected with COVID-19, it is important for them to be aware that they can go to the departmental hospital to be tested.
The press strategy continues in the department host to host, where despite the large mass immunization that took place during these past 5 days, the restrictive measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 continue. Also taking into account the unification of the stage in the archipelago, people who wish to be vaccinated can go to the departmental hospital where they can be immunized with the Sinovac vaccine.
And the local administration informs that the family planning session that was oriented to the women of the archipelago was postponed. The inscriptions that were planned for this week are suspended until further notice. We will be attentive to this information in order to disseminate the work in favor of the reproductive health of women. And now we continue with all the sport news with Victor Fusalva.
here are the best sports of the islands. Parents entertain with football activities in the Maracana. We are in the month of football, where the qualifiers for the next World Cup and the America Cups are carried on. In addition, we celebrate the Father's Day, which for many should not be one day, but the whole month and perhaps the whole year. At the courts of Maracana, the month of the fathers is celebrated with football, with the idea that the fathers can have fun and have a good time. We spoke to Jorge Diaz, a father that is also a football player.
Certainly, this month we celebrate our fathers, and we, the men who came here to the Maracana, know that this is a recreational and competitive tournament. It is good that we come not only to compete but also to enjoy ourselves, and we have taken this month and all the Sundays that follow as the month of our fathers. Father's Day is the least valued and celebrated among us, and we are here at the Maracana have taken this month as the true month of the father, month of recreation, month of the hard-working man, the provider of the house, the one who takes care of the children and family. Unfortunately, sometimes we are undervalued, and for us, it is the month of the man and Father's Day.
Football is important as recreation and entertainment for parents who deserve to be taken into account more and with better recognition, as said by Jorge Diaz. The beach volleyball tournament that seeks to select athletes for next national games successfully ended. On the beaches of El Dorado, together with the Boatman Cooperative, the beach volleyball pre-elimination tournament concluded with the expectation to qualify for the national sea and beach games. This event resulted in the selection of the players who will represent the archipelago in the next national tournament. We talked to Germán Torres, who gave us more details.
Se pudo llevar feliz término gracias a un juego muy tremendo, muy bueno.
It was possible to reach a happy ending thanks to a very good refereeing and the reception they had with all the people who came to the Boatmen's Cooperative, which had a good amount of participants. The champions in the men's division were Sergio Garcia and Diego Barrios. Second place, Joseph Rojas and Sebastián Romero. Third place, Luis Hawkins and Andres Valencia. With reference to all that has to do with logistics and organization, it was very good, thanks to all the sponsors who supported us for this type of event. We are very satisfied with the reception that we had.
Me siento muy feliz por ser parte de la dupla campeona.
Very happy to be part of the duo that became champion. It was very close competition. There were duos that were very even. The final was a one-on-one competition. The opponents were even, very proficient. But in the end, we got the first place, of which I am very happy because that's what we worked for.
Diego Barrios told us a little more about the situation.